There it is. All right. Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful Halloween yesterday. I did. My daughter did. Definitely. Yeah, she does. It's totally sharing, not stealing at all. Plus, her favorite thing is suckers for some reason. So, no, actually, I like gummy bears. Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't do chocolate. Yeah. Unfortunately. Otherwise, believe me, it'd be like Mars bars or something like that. Oh, actually, it would be Reese's. We do not need tape today if you haven't already taped your stuff. Because the background doesn't go to the very edge, we don't need tape. So we only need, this is going to be more of like a dry brush technique. So we don't really need tape for our pieces today, unless you can, I mean, you can keep it if you want. Unless it goes to the very edge or it's very loose looking, you're not really going to need tape, if that makes sense. Okay. So if everybody's ready, the watermelons. We could do that. We can definitely do another fruit next week if you want, but I found a cool like animal one that I'd like to kind of try out. It's not exactly an animal, it's more of like the shape of an animal with a cool image inside of it. Yeah, it's different for sure. Perfect. Yes. Um, either one actually. Yeah, there's no front and back to that one. Yes. So we're going to be doing the pears today. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to draw them out. Let me see. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay. Is that better? Okay, cool. I'm glad. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw out these pears. Let me see. So the way that we're going to do that is by creating first 3 circles, which is going to be like the nice like curvy part of the pear. So I'm looking and I'm gonna start about an inch away from the left-hand side of my paper. So I've marked that right there. And then I'm going about 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the bottom. Okay, so that's just like where I'm going to place my first I'm just trying to figure out how far away from the edges I want. So then I'm going to mark. Okay, so if you have something circular, you can totally use something circular. So like water bottles would work. That is too big, yes. But a little bit, yeah. Actually, I have like 2 cups here. Yep, that's good. Would you like a cup? There you go.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. If you want to freehand it away. You can also do the inside of your tape roll and then kind of trace it as well, like use it as a guide. So you can kind of just real rough circle. So I have my first one there. And then looks like the other one is going to be about the same distance from the right-hand side, so about 1 inch. So I'm just like marking down roughly where the other one will be. I'm gonna put it down, and if you look at the base, it starts about in the middle of this pear. Does that make sense? So the bottom of this circle is about at the middle point of this pear. Make sense to everybody? How I'm doing that? Okay, and about 1 inch away from the edge. So I'm gonna go about right there. Okay, and then if I look at where the bottom of this pear is, I'm gonna assume it's about right here. That makes kind of sense to me. So let's say about 1/4 into this front pear. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be like right there. Yes, it does. And so what I'm looking at right here is up here, like it's a little bit farther away right here, but I want mine to be even farther because I like that composition better for me personally. So I'm going to move mine in a little farther even. So I got my 3 circles. Do I need to draw darker? Okay, you guys can see it? Okay.
The registration for winter season is already on, and you can tell it the next class.
Perfect. Okay. Yes, that's a little small. So it is too big, but let me give you my water bottle, my water for now. No problem. Nice. Very good. Nicely done. You went for it, Marilyn. I love it.
Is this too far down?
No, that looks great. Let me see. Yep, that looks good. Good. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So from there, then we're gonna start doing the other side of the pear. I'm going to make smaller circles and then I'm going to connect them. So what I mean by that is, let's start with this bottom one. If you look at the bottom, thank you. If you look at the bottom, it goes about just before halfway into this pear, right? So then I'm going to create about halfway right here is where I want it to be. So I'm going to create kind of like a smaller circle. just to give me something to connect right here. So I just created a smaller circle just for like a guide almost. The other circle, you don't really need another circle. You could also just do, you could also do like a square almost. So like up here, let's go to this one. And I'm just eyeballing this. So I'm just going to put like a sad face or a rainbow up here. And then I'm just going to connect it. I'm sorry? The tops of them? I'm kind of just eyeballing it. So like this one, I made sure was about halfway inside this one. But this one, I'm kind of just eyeballing it. Because I'm looking at the stem and I want to make the stem about an inch away from the top. So I'm just trying to give myself enough room where I have like the stem and then the rest of it. So really, how tall this pear is up to you. And then this, and then this guy kind of goes in about just over halfway, I would assume. That makes sense. So then I'm gonna do this over here. But also notice this curve. Notice how this comes like kind of to a point right over here to the side, if that makes sense. Because I really like that shape. So then I'm gonna bring that down. And yeah, it comes to like a point right here. A lot like that. Okay, so if I do my erasing and only keep the lines that I need, just so that you guys can see it easier, and it's a step that I'm going to need to do anyways. Okay, there's one pair, and then this pair goes over top of that one. Does it make sense to you guys how I'm like breaking down the shapes? Okay. Do you think with enough practice, it's something you could do yourself? A few years of practice. Yeah. I do have 20 of those, so I have a little bit of a leg up on you. Yes, maybe not you, Michael. It is a shape. Yep. I did like 3 or 4 years of life drawing where you drew like naked models, and you don't even like end up viewing them as like naked people. They're just like a composition of like different shapes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some much more interesting than others. Okay, I'm gonna walk around and see if we all have pear-like shapes. Nice. Okay, you're just missing this one right here. Yep. So see how this is a little weird right here?
Yeah.
So instead I'm gonna bring that out and we're gonna connect it there. Yes, and then this one can like, I'm kind of more, instead of having these sharp edges, I'm going to like round them out because it's more natural that way, right?
Right.
So then this one, we can bring, let me see. Okay, so this one I'm actually going to bring out like right here, like that, and like that. What do you think? Do you like that?
Yeah,
Is that nice?
Yeah, saves
Okay.
saves the line.
It does, yes. I'll lend you, you're getting like weird streaks, so here you go. Nice. They look great, yes. They're small, but they look great. You'll just have to chop down your paper size when you're finished with it. Amazing. Great. Yeah, these look great. Beautiful. I love it. I love that you stuck with the curves instead of doing like sharp edges. It's very organic.
It's a real pear.
It's a real pear. You did it. Beautiful.
Or like
Look at these stereotypical looking pears. Yeah, an upside down light bulb, basically. Yeah, looks great. Awesome.
We did these in pastels.
Impro-
Didn't like pastels.
Did you do oil or chalk?
Never did. No, I did oil pastel.
Okay.
But it creates. That's
Yeah. Yeah, basically crayons. Fancy crayons is what I call it, oil pastels. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is those stems, the leaves, and then we're starting to paint. Make sense? Okay, so for the stems, I think I'm gonna do this bottom one first because it's the easiest to gauge because of the fact that like, because it's in the front, you can use the back pears to really like gauge the shape and the size. So the first one I'm going to do is I am going to take this out. And if you look at this stem, and I'm going up, it goes about right here into the pear. So about right here, I'm making my mark, and my stem is going to come out to there. And it's a little bit flared at the base and then comes in. Or I mean at the tip. Yeah, it's a little bit flared at the tip and comes in. Does it make sense to you guys how I'm taking my pencil and like going to the edge and going up? Does that make sense to you guys? Because like that's how I measure things. And I do that even with my own practice. I like take my pencil and you ever seen people draw and they're doing like this kind of thing? Yeah, that's kind of what they're doing. Or a lot of the times they'll like do that or something like that, and that gives like a really good direction of where it is. All right, so the second one, these two top ones are very interesting because they actually start inside the pears, right? So they start, I'm going to do a very small smiley face right here. And then another one, I'm going to say right here. So two smiley faces. And then I'm going to come out and up. And again, at the very, at the tip, it flares a bit. And I'm going to do the same thing. Feel free to change the bend a little bit for some variety. Right there. And then I just need to erase the mark inside. All right. So the last step that we need is our leaves. I'll wait a few minutes. You're welcome. I know I'm fast. Okay. So for the leaves, how am I gonna, I'm trying to figure out how I'm breaking down this shape. Okay, so for the leaves, what? I'm sorry? I know. Okay, so for the leaves, I think I'm gonna start with a big oval. Just an oval that is about this far away from the stem. Oh, and I'm making sure that I got the right angle for that leaf. So I have to readjust it a bit because my angle was off. And then I'm just going to tie that on. Okay, so I have this oval. Now I'm going to take this area and I'm going to just create a point. So I went right off this edge and I went straight. And then for this side, I'm going to come out and in. So this side is like straight using this edge. And then this part curves and touches up with the edge of this oval. Does that make sense? It's kind of a tough explanation. So if you look at it, this curve right here, like, so this one uses the angle or the curve of the oval, and then this part curves in and then out to align with the other side of the oval. No sharp edges, curves. Okay, so if you come to a sharp edge, just curve it out. And then about halfway inside this leaf, I'm just going to make a curve in and then out again. And then on the other side, it's a little more defined, the curve. So again, in and out. Does that make sense to everybody? So I'll go around just to see how we're doing. Nice. How do you like your leaf? So. Okay. Do you want me to help you with it?
Okay.
Okay. So you do have this perfect. I would just kind of take it in like this, and then it comes in and then back out, right? So then on this side, the same thing happens, in and then back out.
Okay, great.
Does that look better? You're happier with that? Okay. Nice. Yeah. Do you like it? Awesome. Excellent, Leia. Very nice. Very nice. Ooh, I really like this. I like how it looks like it's not flat. It looks like it's on a side a bit. Nice. I like how you did that. Beautiful, Marilyn.
It's okay.
Yes. Beautiful, guys. Amazing. You got it. Good job, guys. All right. Are we ready to move on to the other leaf? Okay. So this leaf, I'm going to do a little bit differently because it's not the same shape. So this leaf, first I'm going to do that stem that comes out. Like I'm going to do the stem of the leaf that attaches to the stem of the pear. So I'm going out right here. And then it like comes out like that. So I'm making like a very slight curve. And then from there, I'm making a teardrop shape. Gonna make sure that I get the angle proper. So I'm making a teardrop shape right now. There you go. Got a teardrop shape. So then from that teardrop shape, I need to give it a little hat, like a little birthday hat at the tip. And then I'm bringing it out a little bit more on the one side. And then from the top, I'm going to that point, and then I'm going out a little bit again, and then curve it around. And that's it. That's all I'm doing. So let's look and see what you got. Nice. Yeah, very good. I like it. I wouldn't actually touch it. Beautiful. Awesome, guys. Very nice. Nice. And you don't need to get dead set on the shape of the leaf. The pears are really the main focus. And then I'm just going to erase the shape of the pear behind it. And I'm erasing the guidelines that I no longer need. Okay. And I'm erasing these guidelines as well. Okay, so for myself, I pressed pretty dark so that you guys could see it. I'm going to go around and erase about 75% of my graphite that is on my paper right now. So that because as I emphasize every single class, watercolor is a transparent medium. So if you have dark lines and you're working light, we're working light, you're going to see your graphite pencil through your painting. So I have to go around, especially around these leaves. The leaves I'm actually erasing probably more like 90%. All right, there you go. You guys can't even see it. Looks like a white page. Okay, so the first thing that we are gonna do, okay, because in watercolor you work light to dark. So the first thing we're gonna do is we are gonna put a very light, we're gonna mix together a light green, and then we're going to put it on the majority of our pears. Actually, we're gonna cover our pears with them. So I'm picking up my number 8 brush. This is the one I prefer, like my medium brush. This is the one I really prefer to mix with. I'm grabbing some clean water, moving aside the things I don't need anymore. I'm grabbing clean water, and then I'm going to grab a sap green. It's my only green that I have to work with. So I'm grabbing my sap green, putting it right in here. Gonna pick up a little more water and pick up a little more paint. Okay. And then I'm grabbing a little bit of my cadmium yellow. And I'm mixing them together. And I'm going to continue adding cadmium yellow until a little bit of cadmium yellow at a time, until I get like a really nice hair color that I'm happy with. Is it a what's the name of the yellow? What's the name of your yellow? Okay. Is it more of a sunshine or a mustard? Okay, then that's the one I would use. All right, I'm gonna come over. Okay, yeah, go with like the more vibrant one for sure. Oh yeah, that's good. Yep. Very nice. Ooh, did you get new palettes?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's a
had to
nice
get it
color.
because the great granddaughter walked out with the green.
No. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
these
she
are
needed
nice.
it.
Oh, did she? Okay.
She did.
These are nice colors. I'd add a little bit more of that, but that's it. Nice.
Anything.
Um,
I'm using these. Should I use this?
well, these are going to be much lower quality. These are going to be nicer.
So I should use this.
I would mix these two together
Okay.
with a little bit of this just to darken it up a little bit. Ooh, nice color. Yeah, I would add a little bit more yellow, but that is a really good start.
This yellow?
Yes, that yellow.
This color?
Add a little bit more yellow to it. Wet your brush a little more. There you go. Nice. Yes. Okay, so then once you have the color that you want, if you haven't cleaned the brush that you mixed your color with, don't just dip it into your water. That'll like loosen it up and like water it down. And then you can just start putting on the water. Yeah, don't like beat the water off, just dip it and then go to your painting. Does that make sense? So don't like try and clean it off, but just. Yep, I'm doing all three, all of them that touch. And we want it to be nice and light. Light-ish, as light as we can get. So actually, instead of adding more color, I'm just picking up more water. So I'm not actually picking up more color, I'm simply adding more water. Now for the next pair, I will be picking up a little bit of color. But again, I want to keep it light. So instead of adding more, picking up more of the paint, I'm picking up more of the water. And I'm moving the paint that's already on my paper around with the water. Does that make sense? So you can think of the water as a primer. It makes the paint like kind of mobile, if you will. So this isn't a dry brush technique because of how wet our brush is. I would say this is more of a wet on dry technique. So like we have dry paper, but we have a wet brush. Does that make sense? And you can let it all bleed together. So then the last one I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up some of this paint. Thank you. And again, I'm carving around my stems. I didn't wet my stems. I'm moving around the stems. Let me see if I can get closer. If you wet your stems, no big deal. We can always lift that up. Remember how to lift? So once it's dry, we can lift because we're going to have to lift as well. So my paint isn't spreading as much as I want it to right now. So instead of picking up more paint, I'm just picking up more water and using that water to spread my paint around. And that's going to keep this color very light. There we go. Yeah. So now that we have all of our pears completed. Okay. Well, I'm letting you guys know the next step. So the next step after is while it's still a little bit damp, we're going to take out any excess water from our brush, and we are going to pick up the water in these hot spots right here. So after we've added all of the paint to our pears, while it's still a little damp, before it dries completely, we're gonna go in and clean our brush, and then we're gonna dab it off so that it wipes up any excess water out of there. And then we have a damp brush instead of a wet brush. And then we're gonna go in and we're gonna lift off all of these highlights, okay? So again, I am cleaning my brush. I'm dabbing it off so that it becomes damp. And then I'm gonna go in and I'm going to lift up these hot spots. And after I finish this, I'm going to walk around and I'll pause. I just want to work a little quickly right now because I don't want it to like dry on me. Because I know right now I'm moving pretty fast and I apologize for that. It's just, this is a little bit of a time sensitive thing. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And then this one is about right here. And then the last one is circular, and that is about right here. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's walk around. Nice. Okay, so instead of using a paper towel, what we are going to do is we are going to take our brush, and then I'm going to just soak up any excess. Actually, you're going to need a little bit more water for that. Okay, so I'm just wetting it again. Wetting it again. And then wetting it again. Because yours got really dry. So then now that it's wet, I'm just going to go in and like lift it up.
Oh, that's great.
Because because you wet the paper, so the water kind of pushes. So if you think about it, the water pushes the color off and like creates a little layer in between the color and the paper. And then that is what's going to allow you to pick up this color. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And the last one is right here. And because this paper isn't like absolutely perfect paper, I'm just going to be very delicate with it, because see how it starts to like tear into the paper?
Excellent.
And this is this paper?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Nice. Yeah, looks great. Very nice. Beautiful. I like how light you work. Nice. Oh, that
I'm
looks
not
great.
doing this.
You need more water on your paper. So if your paper is already dry, you're going to have to wet it first to like lift the paint off of the paper, and then scoop it up, if that makes sense. Yeah, real quickly I can. Did you get the? Yeah, it's too small. Yeah. So for lifting technique, so for a lifting technique, first I'm going to just put a layer of color on my paper and I'm going to let it dry. That's it for right now. So I'm spreading some color around, and I'm using blue because it stands out. And then I need to let that dry. So then I'll come back to it after. Yes. So if your paper has dried already and you want to lift, you're going to have to wet it to kind of move the paint around and create something to lift it off, because the paint or the water is going to kind of lift the paint off of the paper, and then you can like lift it off. Does that make sense? Okay. No, not working out for you? Okay, let's see.
Put more water. I tried.
Yep.
One more. Where I wanted to come off.
Yep. Do it. Perfect. You can do that again.
More water.
No, just lift off what you got.
I should be using a dumb brush, a dollar store brush to do this.
Yeah. You don't need to press that hard, really.
No.
That's not necessary.
But this should work like a sponge if it's
Yep.
correctly done.
Correct. Yep. And that lifted off. Your paint is
It's
so
just
light
my
already.
fingers like that.
Yeah. It's tough to be able to see. Perfect, guys. I'm starting to get some really interesting watercolor effects going on here as it's drying. Do you guys have some cool, cute little watercolor effects throughout your paintings? Nice. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is we are going to add some depth. How dry is our pear? Okay. Dry. Anyone have wet pear? Wet? Okay. Okay, since your pear is wet, let's just color in the leaf first, and then we'll move on. I just need to bear with me.